Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello, and welcome back to the channel where you join me in the Cayman GT4, heading today to install a new exhaust. We're going to be fitting the JCR titanium valved race pipes, which are going to make this car sound significantly improved. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't sound bad with the 4-litre naturally aspirated flat 6, but we can do some more to make it even better. The 718 generation has the OPF, the 981 didn't, and that means it's just slightly muted. It doesn't have the sharpness to the tone. When you use the auto blip and drop down some gears, it sounds good, and as the road opens out, we can enjoy a little bit more of it. But this, today, is going to sound mega. So we're heading out to JZM Porsche, leading Porsche specialist, to go and find Jonny from JCR to pick up the system and to get it fitted today to this GT4. It wouldn't be a video in the UK in summer without a quick mention for the fact that it is raining. But as we come down to the corner, it's not as if this doesn't sound good to begin with. A flat 6 engine, a naturally aspirated engine derived from the Carrera S engine, effectively enlarged to 4 litres with no turbos. This is a car that is all about driving enjoyment, and it is a fantastically balanced car overall. But one thing I want to do is give it a little bit more life. We're going to have the valve control on the new JCR system. They have made quite a name for themselves in recent years with their different exhaust options packages, and especially with the 718 generation Cayman and Boxster, with the GT4s, with the 4 litres, with all of the different iterations. And I know that later on this car is going to sound absolutely mega. If we just slow it down for a second, in fact with an empty road, down to first gear, just to enjoy a little bit of this sound. Now, wait until you hear it later on. So let's get there, let's see all of the parts. It should only take, I think, about 2.5 hours or so to actually get the exhaust swapped over, and then we'll be able to do a comparison with how it sounded before and how it sounds after. We are arriving then here at JZM Porsche, and we will park up and go in and set the plan for exactly what we are going to do today. We might see some pretty cool stuff in the process. Here we are then, we've just brought the car inside where the guys have very kindly been giving it a quick rinse down thanks to today's weather, but now absolutely looking the part with the Inozetek Midnight Purple combined with all of the gold, the Aurum Gold wheels, the RSNV wing risers as well, and now it is time to make it sound the part. We will have a full before and after sound comparison. We'll be able to see the stock exhaust when that comes out as well, and how it compares to the new one and what it's going to look like, and most importantly sound like very shortly when this has been installed. The new JCR titanium valved race pipes with my choice of the optional black ceramic tailpipes. There are a number of different options, but Jonny will talk us through all of this in just a moment. But meanwhile, here in the showroom at JZM, there are a pair of Porsche 918 Spyders, GT2 RS Weissach, GT2 RS Club Sport even in the corner. We'll have a look at all of those a little bit later on. Some stunning examples over here as well to walk around and explore, but I think we should be joined by Jonny to talk about the modification happening to this car with this exhaust. Up goes the GT4 quickly so we can see a little bit of the underside and the stock system, which you can tell is not quite as visually pleasing as the new one that's going to be going on to that. But we will go have a chat about that just now and understand some of the differences. I'm here then with Jonny. How are you?
Good, Tim. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity to install this onto my car. You're the man behind JCR. You used to race in Porsches, and that, I guess, got you into making these.
Yes, I mean, JCR has been a really fun project. It's kind of started in 2018, and then it's just strength on strength, really. And our main bag is our titanium exhaust systems, which we produce for all manner of Porsches in various different guises. So what we've got here today is our titanium valve non-silenced rear silencer replacement for the 718. That fits GT4, Spider, GTS 4 litre. It's a valve system, so it plugs straight into the valve controller from the factory car, so you can still use a button inside the car.
Perfect.
You've got your valve open route on the lower section here, which comes through this nice centre merge and then through out into the tips. The merge is designed to specifically help with the tone that we're trying to achieve from the exhaust. So that really nice high-pitched GT sound, you get from a GT3 or the RSR that everybody kind of loves.
Which is exactly what we're looking forward to hearing.
Yeah, and that's one feature which the factory exhaust doesn't have. So you'll notice the 718s are quite a low frequency. Essentially you're hearing 2-3 cylinders running in parallel rather than a full 6-cylinder engine. That's what this merge is kind of, able to do. When the valve's closed, the gases are basically all going through this upper section, smaller diameter, which kind of removes some of the volume. And then also we've got this quarter wave length resonator pipe, which is designed to specifically target a frequency which we would otherwise kind of hear as drone in the cabin, which obviously nobody really enjoys. This also allows us to tune the sound and kind of further accentuate that high-pitched tone. But yeah, it's a really nice replacement. It's complete direct bolt-on for the rear silencer, fits onto the OPFs, no change in emissions, keeps the valves, does all the nice things.
But gives some of that sound back, because the OPFs, of course, new generation cars, it creates more of a muted tone. You don't get the same sharpness and excitement, and I think this should bring some of that back. And then you have effectively the hot swap tips.
Yeah, so as part of our system, you have to have a tip with it. So we've got a couple of tip options. You can either have them in polished or we've got the black ceramic finish on this, which I think will be a nice complement to the car. They're on V-band clamps, so that allows an easy change to our silence tips if you want to use the car on track. If you had our manifolds, particulate filter deletes, all that kind of extra things, it does get quite loud, and that would then allow you to drop the decibel levels as well. But the factory tips are actually quite a restriction. So as part of the design in our system, we did get rid of the factory tips, and you choose a tip with it. But yeah, this is our Inconel rolled tip. It's got a nice kind of inner megaphone design. And it just kind of looks like an OEM plus. So if you're looking at the car once this is installed, it looks like it's meant to be there. It sounds like the car should sound from the factory.
That's a winning combination, if you ask me.
Pretty much, yeah.
So we need to get this installed. I think when we've got the stock one off, it'll be interesting to have a side-by-side comparison, and then very shortly, be good to go.
Cool.
Sounds good. Fast forward a little bit and the stock exhaust has been removed. Always quite unusual to see a car looking like that. And here you can spot the OPFs, the things that us car people are not the biggest fans of, but the way all of this is going. Nonetheless, we have this system down here, which you can see is nothing like as pretty and sightly as the new JCR exhaust. But what's going to be particularly interesting right now is to pop each of these onto some scales to get the direct comparison. So if I could grab some help to put the standard system onto the scales that have been zeroed, so you can see exactly what this weighs to begin with. We've got 16.2 kilos. I guess about what you'd expect. It's not a very good looking thing, big piece of metal. This is with the exhaust tips in place. But let's swap this over then to the standard, to the new exhaust, I should say, from the standard, to get the direct comparison of what this is going to be like. So the titanium exhaust on its own to begin with, it was 0 before, and we're at 6.5 kilos, almost 10 kilos lighter, less than half the weight. You can opt to have the titanium tips. In this case, I've gone for the ceramic tips. So if we add those as well just to the scales for a moment, we go up to 7.5, but still 7.5 compared to 16.2, well under half. And you could go even more, and of course this is all weight hanging out the back of the car, so not only does it look the part, it is also significantly beneficial in terms of the weight savings. Time for the new exhaust to go on in. Has to get lined up. Cool. Let's have a quick look then at some of the cars that are here in the showroom at JZM. Well, the work is finishing to install the exhaust on the GT4, and I'm going to come through to this side where we have not one, but two Porsche 918 Spiders of the 918 that they've made of them in total, the liquid silver and the gloss black. And this car actually has some bright green harnesses to match the acid green of the brake calipers and the logos that you have, like the e-hybrid logo found around. Behind, the GT2 RS Visac package in the bright yellow, and then the GT2 RS Club Sport, one of only 200 cars, track-only version, still with 700 horsepower, but even more aero. That thing must be mental. We've got a 991.2 GT3 RS Visac package in the lizard green, a very nice speedster behind as well, nice colour on that. We come round though, past the Taycan Turbo, towards the other side we also have a Ferrari 812 Superfast, and you guys know how much I like those in TDF blue, Tour de France blue, the same colour I had on my GTC4 Lusso. And this one actually, just to show you very quickly, has this blue sterling interior with the white accents and details like the seat stripe. This is very, very nice, especially with the bright silver wheels that it wears as well, with its 6.5 litre V12, past a couple of Ducati bikes as well, to come round towards the other side, and a few more bits and pieces to see over here. Ferrari Super America, a very, very bespoke GT3 RS of the 991.1 generation, in a specific multi-layered metallic orange with the chromed wheels. This is quite a well-known car. Murcielago, a couple of older GT3 RS and GT2 as well, so some very nice stuff around. This is now all complete, all fully back together. The tips are now in place as well, matching much more with the space that the diffuser has cut out for them, looking the part, and that will mean in a second it's going to be time to get this started so we can hear how the JCR exhaust sounds on the 718 GT4. It's time then for the first startup of the GT4 with the exhaust. Let's take a listen. Right, let's do this, let's hear it. Wow! That barked into life. That was a nice kick. It just sounds that touch rawer. This is what we wanted out of it. That was the normal start with the sport exhaust button pressed. So what we need to do is pull the car outside and play for you a bit of a before and an after so you can hear the difference. So first up, let's hear it before with the stock exhaust. Now that we've heard the stock sound and the car is warmed up, let's hear how the new JCR exhaust sounds on my GT4. Safe to say that the sound of my GT4 is now significantly improved. That sounded epic. The normal stock exhaust has this slightly muted tone to it. That undoes that. The JCR exhaust giving it a rawness, adding more rasp, and in a moment, when we're on the road heading back home, we'll be able to hear it under load, because for static revving, the car has a 5,000 RPM electronic rev limiter, and it goes significantly further than that. So this has been a huge, huge upgrade to the car, but now I can't wait to be on the road heading back to hear even more of it. So a huge thanks to JZM for the opportunity to do it here, to be able to have a look as well around. They also have a storage section and a full workshop, but this is now really and truly something very cool. Heading out then, again a big thanks to JZM for doing the installation of the exhaust today. You can tell instantly, even driving slowly, especially if I press the button. Oh, we still got stop start, but the beauty of stop start is that obviously when it does start, it sounds pretty cool. Like this, it's not crazy loud, but you can tell it's a different sound. That JCR sound, a deeper grumble at lower revs. Obviously we're going to hear what it's like up at 8,000 or so RPM in a moment, but like this, just a little bit, there we go, yeah, when you get onto the throttle you can just tell it's slightly more angry than it was before. You get a few more burbles out of it as well, a few more interesting sounds what's going on. If I press auto blip, just down a second. Yes. Oh, there we go. Screaming away. This car sounds good. It sounds more like a 911. It's more that kind of engine, more like, well, what a Porsche GT car should sound like, to be completely honest. And the downshifts as well just have that raspiness, as I said earlier, that I think this car is really missing. So the interesting thing is this is of course still with OPF, with the particulate filters at the back. If you take those out, obviously you'd get even more sound out of it, a link pipe, or if you did headers or something like that from the engine. But it's surprising how sharp it actually manages to sound despite still having them, despite still having everything that obviously legal requirements dictate when it comes to this kind of thing. Anyway, we can pull out here onto the slip road, which means a perfect opportunity when in a straight line to put the power down. This is so good. This is so cool. The sound is immense. We've got a couple of errands to run today, so I think I'm pretty much going to wrap things up. But this car now sounds glorious. It's not too loud, it's not too in your face and obtrusive. If you put the window down, you get a bit more sound, but it's not crazy. I'd love to hear it from the outside, and hopefully you'll be able to do that before too long. But driving along normally, this is what I love. If you want to press the button here, close the valves, make it a little bit quieter, there's no drone. In fact, there's barely any noise at all with the way the valves work, all operating in completely the default stock fashion in terms of the computers and the behaviour. Or you can have it open, use the auto blip yourself if you prefer, drop down some gears and have a bit more of that from it. And what a sound it is. Anyway, awesome upgrade if you ask me to the GT4. Huge thanks to Jonny at JCR, huge thanks to the guys as well at JZM for the installation. This is going to be some good times ahead with this car. I can't wait to get it out on the road for a road trip at some point, and of course for a compulsory lap of the Nürburgring Nordschleife before too long. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.